Planning Director, City of Fresno. Thank you for your time this morning. The City of Fresno has appealed the Planning Commission action to amend unclassified conditional use permit 3093 and related UCUP numbers 367, 2032, 2209, 2241, 2235, and 3063 to extend the operational time limit for the existing aggregate sand and gravel operation, processing plants, and related currently permitted uses for an additional 4 years to extend the expiration date from July 28, 2023 to July 28, 2027. In particular, the City of Fresno finds that the existing EIR is no longer adequate for the proposed project, nor does the city agree that the use of a 15302 finding of exemption for existing facilities is appropriate in this case, as there are insufficient analysis of the use of the Class 1 exemption and there are exceptions to the exemption, including the additional aggregate impacts to the environment. The city has submitted 2 letters providing a fair argument why the use of the 36-year-old document is not sufficient to support the extension of the use permit and related permits, as substantial changes have occurred with respect to the circumstances under which the project is undertaken. These include, but are not limited to, the application before you for a time extension is beyond 2005, the horizon year anticipated in the 1986 EIR and 1987 supplemental EIR, and the original expiration of the permit. There is a current application in process at the county for a project to continue operations, including the expansion of the project scope and term for an additional 100 years. Relying on the 1986 EIR and 1987 supplemental EIR to extend UCUP 3093 is piecemealing and does not consider the whole of the action as required by section 15378 of the CEQA guidelines. For a phased development project, even if details about future phases are not known, future phases must be included in a project description if they are a reasonably foreseeable consequence of the initial phase and will significantly change the initial project or its impacts. Since these extensions were not originally evaluated, the use of the prior environmental documents are not valid. The project description from the prior environmental document is not sufficient to be relied upon at this time. It does not accurately describe the operations nor the time frame under which the project would take place. The project description states that the project would operate for 20 years or until 2005. The current extension is beyond that time period by almost an additional 20 years. Significant changes in traffic volumes analyzed in the 1987 supplemental EIR on pages 32 and 33 assume a cumulative year of 2006, which identified average daily trips of 9,770 on Bryant Road south of Willow Avenue. Count data collected by the City of Fresno in 2021 shows an ADT of approximately 64,500 along Bryant Road north of Audubon and north of Champlain Drive to be 22,000 ADT. This is 2.25 to 6.5 times the volumes analyzed. Pedestrian and bicyclist volumes along the Bryant Road corridor have increased due to Woodward Park and the trail facilities in the area. The increased volumes of pedestrian and bicyclists increases the probability of serious and/or fatal collisions. There have been multiple pedestrian and bicyclist fatalities along Bryant Road in the last 5 years. The increase in pedestrian and bicyclist volumes is a substantial change in circumstances and was not addressed in prior environmental documents. Due to these stated reasons, those additional addressed in the 2 prior letters, and other inconsistencies between the operations and the assessed project, the City of Fresno cannot concur that the 1986 EIR and 1987 supplemental EIR are appropriate to extend the UCUP 3093 and related permits at this time. Thank you for your time.